we'd love to hear your thoughts on those big questions. We're going to give you about 25 minutes, and then we'd love to come back and get your thoughts from the tables.
Hi, I'm Richard Sandell. I'm a Professor of Museum Studies at the University of Leicester, and I co-direct the Research Centre for Museums and Galleries. We do socially engaged research with museums and cultural institutions across the UK and internationally, and our research centre carried out the background research for Contested Desires. Kind of been thinking about and working in the area of social inclusion for quite a long time now, and I think a greater understanding of colonialism and its legacies has been so instructive for revealing the limitations of what's often referred to as the diversity discourse, that idea that we bring in marginalised or diverse perspectives into the mainstream. But I think thinking about colonialism forces us to recognise the limitations of that, the need to address the structural and the systemic inequalities that are still very present even as we try to bring in different forms of community and lived experience.
Hello, I'm Cesare Cuzzola. I'm a research associate at RCMG, so I worked with the team at RCMG on the background research for Contested Desires as well. My background is in material culture, so I've really been thinking about specifically the power of material culture and museum collections in sort of exploring ideas of colonialism and empire in Britain. In my research, I looked specifically at the statue of Edward Colston, who was sort of a problematic figure in the history of Bristol. And famously in 2020, the statue of Edward Colston was toppled. And after public consultations a few years later, the public decided to for the statue to go to the museum. And I've been thinking sort of about the role of museums in helping with that conversation about the legacy of colonialism, in their role in starting a conversation about the legacy of colonialism in Britain, and really sort of like what the role of cultural organizations is when it comes to sort of their social responsibility around these histories.
Culture has a huge opportunity to do the work that Cesare is referring to, do the work to bring in challenging conversations into places where we can reflect, we consider, we can connect with others, we can discuss more openly, but also that there's a lot more work that needs to be done by museums to be able to do that well. They need to be more transparent, and they need to be more open about their ongoing complicity in colonialism and its legacies.
I think what struck me today, this is the first time I meet the sort of cohort of Contested Desires, because we're sort of a team that takes things in turn when it comes to these public events. But I think what struck me was the diversity of the cohort, not just in terms of identity, but also the roles. It's, I think, a really productive way of working where different stakeholders across the cultural sectors are meeting, where you've got artists and researchers, academics, and cultural practitioners and producers sort of in the same room discussing topics that they're all involved in and they're all affected by. And I think that's shown in sort of the conversations and activities that we've done today.
My name is Rabia Ben Labib. I live and was born in the Netherlands. I lead an organization called Creative Court, which is a part of the CD project, and also another organization called Kunstvoort Vijfhuizen, which is a location partner in the project. I'm in this project because for me, this conversation that we are having in the world with about equality and about justice and injustice is a sort of mission in life. So that's also why I founded Creative Court in the first place. And this is also how Frans and I think are connected. So it's not just a project, it's actually something very personal and deep.
I am Claudio Beocchia, I'm an Italian artist, and I'm an interdisciplinary artist that works a lot through participatory and relational practices. There is this thing in my mind that somehow colonialism is a kind of, it's like gravity. It's everywhere, it's always with us, with our body, with our behavior. We cannot skip, we cannot avoid gravity, and the same is with colonialism. And probably the role of an artist is just trying to put little obstacles, little tricks that somehow make people stumble. Like, so if you are not going to fall, at that time you understand there is gravity, so at the same time you understand there is colonialism. So I would say this is the thing that I'm gonna bring at home, because I heard that also it's a kind of communal feeling that we all have about colonialism, especially in relation with cultural heritage.
I'm Gabriela Cordova Vivas. I'm from Colombia. I'm an artist and scholar, and I'm a social engaged artist. And I have been working for the last 10 years with Caldo de Cultivo, which is a collective, and also as a researcher. And we have been working on producing dispositives to visibilize and make visible all the ways in which the violence of capital is used and abused in our world. And in the last few years, we have been very interested in showing how the far right is kind of taking over governments and subjectivities, and what art can do to fight that. Today we have been talking a lot about inclusion and critically examining like what inclusion means. For me specifically, I don't really like the word inclusion, because that means that it's a look to the other, and the other is the one who has to change. And it's kind of that the history is written, and then I have to choose what character I am going to play in that story that is already written. For me, we will need to really work on like writing together that story, that history together, instead of being included or excluded from those conversations. So who gets to include them? There is a power dynamic there that I think we have to like really contest. In my own work, because I come from Colombia, coloniality is just crosses all my work. We have been working in Colombia, but also in the United States or in places like Poland and Spain. And for me, the important part is to show how it's not something from the past, but it's alive in our day-to-day interactions, and how it's still, very much alive. So We work using a lot of authors that come from the global south. And for us, it's very important to reflect around how we build knowledge and what is knowledge, right? And so that's why, popular knowledges from the neighborhoods are very important for us. And yeah, I think it's fundamental in our practice.
I represent H401, which is a historical house in the city centre of Amsterdam. It served as a hiding place during the Second World War. Today we run an actual program based on themes like exclusion, inclusion, contested heritage. And for us it's always important to involve and connect artists in that research. And we do that normally locally, but most important also for us is to work in an international context and to work together with European partners in these kind of exchanges. It brings a lot for us. And in this case, Contested Desires, Constructive Dialogues, we formed together the Dutch hub in this consortium of international partners. Who is in and who is out, the program we present to the partners, to the artists, to the ethical board. This morning we had 2 scholars, and actually I realized that their work, they're so committed to the work. I realized they were activists, and they really stood up for a case that was and is close to them, and it feels close to our place. And I think that's wonderful to experience that was really a thing that stays with me. And also our session this afternoon, in which you took the lead and invited us to share in smaller groups a personal story that really adds value for me to a project. And it was really touching, I can say, the way how we got in a conversation with the people at the table, and that after your introduction, compliments for that, it really was opening up all of us to contribute to that talk and to that safe space with sometimes difficult personal stories on the theme of social inclusion and exclusion, which goes hand in hand in this case.
Yeah, my name's Paul Natraj. I'm an artist from Blackburn in Lancashire, which is in the northwest of the UK. It's basically the intersection between colonialism and social inclusion is at the heart of everything that I try to do. I don't really see that my practice is mine. I think that my practice is about facilitating conversations with people and to use those conversations in order to think about what marginality means and to think about what decoloniality means, or the process of coloniality, and to think about the legacies of those things in terms of lived experience. So I think it really is the catalyst for all of the work that I try to create. They're really difficult, complex and knotty problems, and the entanglements are detailed and difficult to unpick. And in that sense, the more inclusion that we can bring to the creative process, but also to the process of understanding, the more inclusion that we can bring to that, the more hope we have in really doing some work which has got depth, longevity and power to speak to these difficulties and to speak to the present moment. So the voice The inclusivity of voice means that the work is timely.
My name is Tunde Adefuye, and I am currently a lecturer in cultural criticism at St. Lucas Antwerp, and also a lecturer at Artes in Arnhem. I'm also a researcher and a convener. Importantly, I'm a convener of space, working with vulnerable populations in the southwest of Uganda. I also, together with others, in the end of 2020, started this collective called Towards Braver Spaces. And we were really about how do we take some of the things that were happening within the institutions, the art institutions, outside of the art institution. So it meant very specifically not doing the labor of trying to include oneself in institutions that are actually inherently violent. What does it mean to really kind of think about collective care and thinking about co-creating with people that are trying to create spaces that are really generating new ways of being, which also includes not just the human, but also the more than human, and thinking about different ways of what does it mean, what does transformative justice mean when we're not facing justice and the harm that we do with each other in colonial narratives. So that's sort of how I'm looking at it, the intersection between coloniality and social inclusion.
Hello everyone, I'm Mohamed Ben Slama, I'm Tunisian artist. Actually, I developed a project called Boussadia. This project is based on the mask. This mask, it came from Sub-Saharan. So this story, it came from the mythology. This guy, he looking for, in the eternal way, his daughter decapitated in the trans-Saharan deportation. So he tried to looking for his daughter in a lot of city in North Africa. So he used a lot of instruments, he used dancing, etc. to attract people, and he hoped to find his daughter through performing arts. So all the concept is based on the mask, and what I'm trying to develop is to introduce this local mythology and to push this local mythology to be universal concepts. This is what I'm working on, actually. I have a kind of different perspective in terms of the colonialization topic, because I work about the South-South colonization. So this is more taboo question in my country, in North Africa, because there is a long process of, it's like between Africa and United States, they have a transatlantic, and Europe, they have a transatlantic deportation, but we have another taboo topic is the trans-Saharan deportation. So I work about all the identity, the cultural identity between North and South. And I think that there is a lot of common points between this process and the other process of transatlantic deportation also. So I think that we have two different perspectives, two ways of work. It's to make advocacy about this project in Europe, in US, in the North. And I think that we have a big responsibility to show and to see yourself in front of mirror about our history of deportation between North and the South. So we talk about South-South colonization. So I think that it's still very actual topic.
My name's Dr. Leona Vaughan. I'm from the University of Liverpool, and I'm the external expert supporting evaluation of the CDCD project. I found today really useful to think about inclusion and colonialism. What was really interesting was the conversation about how inclusion is quite a political concept. So what I mean by that is that inclusion in and of itself isn't neutral. It's kind of decided by others about who is in and who is out. And when that comes to thinking about colonialism and colonialism being ongoing, you know, we still see colonization, we still see exploitation, you know, around the world. But actually this is something that is still happening. So when we talk about inclusion, we really need to be thinking about actively talking about justice and about rights and about repair. This is interesting for me. I teach on anti-colonialism and coloniality in the contemporary. So thinking about how history shapes the present. So it was really good to have this conversation with artists and with institutions around how they understand that and what their role is in helping the wider community, the public, understand why are we so bothered? Why are we still talking about colonialism? Why are we still talking about slavery and its legacies?
My name is Carlos Noronha Feio. Well, that's my artistic name. It's a much longer, more difficult name. I was born in Portugal. I have a complicated family historical background, which is probably part of what informs my wanting to participate in this project as well. So I'm one of the artists participating in the CDC project. I'm here in representation of the University of Lisbon, the Museum of Natural History and Sciences, and I've had the pleasure to actually go to the Netherlands, to H401 and to Kunstfort, where I've been producing quite a large public artwork that will stay there for, well, the community will have to decide that it should stay there for at least 5 to 30, 40 years. So they will decide it. It would have been important for me to be here from the beginning of the session, but I decided to go and vote in the presidential election of my country, which I assume it was quite important as well. So that was part of my take on, but I think that it fits with the concept, because if you want things to change, you actually have to act upon your beliefs. So this was me choosing not to participate in the morning session and go to vote in a different city for the presidential election, where we have a far-right party or far-right candidate running against a center-left. So yes, but saying all of this, for me it's interesting to be listening to this, because as you can probably imagine, none of my predicates sells the idea of not having had privilege growing up. If anything, I probably had too much of it. But that doesn't mean that my own, let's say, interests, or where I want to construct my identity towards, or my own ancestral history, that there aren't issues there that need to be resolved, and that this will, in a way, help me to understand things and to develop not just my practice, but try to develop discourses that can help in some way, or help to question. I think that my role here is more, or the work I'm trying to produce, or that I'm producing, helps more to question than offers you an answer. And I think that coming from a position of obvious, at least visual privilege, I think it's quite a sincere way of contributing.
Now that we met together again with all the other partner organizations and the artists, that we really are a team. That was a very strong feeling that I had yesterday when we, after months and months, we saw each other again physically. So what I also take away is that it's very important to have physical meetings, because that really deepens the feeling of trust and openness. And yeah, you know it so well also from your other projects. And it's really important. Of course, we're also balancing environmental impact and, you know, other things, but it's really a must in these kinds of collaborations to physically be together.
I'm Cristina Scarpari. I'm from Cyprus, and I'm an interdisciplinary practitioner. I also represent Xerkis NGO, which is a Cypriot partner in this CDCD program. I really liked the setting today. I found it was very relaxed, and I think it fits kind of my own approach when it comes to working with heritage. I tend to be a bit critical of heritage spaces because I find them a bit stiff sometimes and stern and humorless. So I like the fact that it was very loosely laid out and speaking in a very insightful way, but at the same time in a way that I think brought us closer. So a mix of theory, but also practice and more personal, intimate conversations. So it helped me ease and kind of relax a bit. And I'm looking forward also to carrying this on in the next time we meet together, which is at Xerkis Festival in Cyprus, which I will be art directing. In the work we're doing at Xerkis and in my personal work as an artist and curator, I'm looking at this through a decolonial and a feminist lens. So I'm really interested in how we make space for pluralistic conversations to emerge and for agonistic spaces. So in this case, I often try to become a bridge between people who represent peripheral voices and more institutional kind of standpoints in heritage. Yeah, and in my own personal work, I work a lot with filmmaking, photography, co-design as well. So for me, it's about developing a polyphony. That's what this space needs more of, I think, and trying to maybe not eradicate hierarchies because it's kind of a very difficult ask, but creating spaces for different voices to emerge and to question such hierarchies.